Hey everyone, in this video we'll be learning how to balance chemical reactions. Let's first learn why we balance chemical reactions. When we balance a chemical reaction, the atoms of each element or compound needs to be the same on both sides of the equation. Means it needs to be in accordance to the law of conservation of mass. Now let's take a look at a balanced and unbalanced chemical reaction. Let's look at the first reaction. Here on the left hand side there are two atoms of hydrogen, and on the right hand side there are also two atoms of hydrogen. Now looking at the left hand side once again, we see that there are two atoms of oxygen, but on the right hand side there is only one atom of oxygen. So this equation is unbalanced. Looking at the next one, on the left hand side there is 2 into 2 atoms of hydrogen. So there's 4 atoms of hydrogen on the left hand side and 2 into 2 4 atoms of hydrogen on the right hand side. So these both are equal, and here there's 2 atoms of oxygen and 2 atoms of oxygen on the right hand side too. Now how do we know if a reaction is balanced or unbalanced? Let's take a look. Here on the left hand side there's 2 atoms of hydrogen, and on the right hand side there's 2 atoms of hydrogen. Oxygen, there's 2 atoms on the left hand side and 1 atom on the right hand side. So the oxygen are not equal. So this reaction is unbalanced. Looking at the next one, there's 4 atoms of hydrogen on the left hand side and 4 atoms of hydrogen on the right hand side. Similarly, there's 2 atoms of oxygen on the left hand side and 2 atoms of oxygen on the right hand side. So this equation is balanced. Now let's take a look at how we balance chemical reactions. So let me make this simple for you. We just need to know this order for balancing chemical equations. First we balance metals, then non-metals, then oxygen, and then hydrogen. One more thing to note is that once we have completed each step, we need to go back to the first and check if they are balanced. Let's take a look at a few more rules which will make it easier for you to balance chemical reactions. So let's balance using our very simple method. We start with metals. So on the left hand side there's 1 Mn, and on the right there's also 1 Mn. So metals are balanced. Now let's do non-metals. So here there's 1 chlorine, and on the right hand side there's 2 plus 2 chlorine. So that's 4 chlorine. So let's balance chlorine. So we put a 4 here. So that's 4 chlorine. Let's go back to the first step and see if anything has changed. So there's still 1 Mn on the left hand side and 1 Mn on the right hand side. Now we can move on. Let's do oxygen now. On the left hand side there's 2 oxygen, and on the right hand side there's 1 oxygen. So let's add a 2 over here. So this makes it balanced. Now we can do hydrogen. Here on the left hand side there's 4 hydrogen, and on the right hand side there's 4 hydrogen. So we have successfully balanced it. Just remember metals, non-metals, oxygen, and then hydrogen. Similarly, let's do one more example. Here there's 1 copper on the left hand side and 1 copper on the right hand side. So metals are balanced. Next, let's do the non-metals. So here the non-metal is nitrogen. There's 1 atom of nitrogen on the left hand side and 2 atoms of nitrogen on the right hand side. So to balance it, we put a 2 next to NH3. Now we can do oxygen. Here there's 1 oxygen on the left hand side and 1 oxygen on the right hand side. So it's balanced. Finally, we can do hydrogen. So if you look at the left hand side, there's 6 hydrogen, and on the right hand side there's 2 hydrogen. So we can make this 2 into 6 by multiplying it by 3. Let's go back to the first step. So once we multiply this with 3, the hydrogen becomes 6 and the oxygen becomes 3. So let's make 3 oxygen on the left hand side by multiplying CuO with 3. So that makes it 3 oxygen. Now this has changed copper. So we multiply the copper on the right hand side with 3. So this balances copper too. Now we have balanced this chemical reaction. Let's do another one. Here there is no metal. So let's start with non-metals. So carbon, there is 6 on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. So to balance it, let's add a 6 here. Now let's go to oxygen. There's 6 here and 2 here, so that's 8, and over here there's 12 plus 1. Now to balance oxygen, let's do a little bit of trial and error. So we can make this 2 into 12 by multiplying it by 6. So let's add a 6 here. So that makes the total oxygen to 12 plus 6. So that makes it 18. Now we can add a 6 over here. That balances it. Now let's look at hydrogen. There's 12 hydrogen on the left hand side and 6 into 2. So that's 12 hydrogen on the right hand side. Therefore, we have balanced this equation too. So guys, I hope you find this method really simple. All you have to do is practice a little more, and this method will make balancing equations really easy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.